All right, now that we installed both main and our satellite environments, now we can go to back to our main environment, and we're going to do the configuration data for the apps and the different properties that we're going to ask our users for. So we're going to go into our Automation COE main solution. And again, I'm still using the Automation COE account here. And I'm going to click on Apps. And in the main, again, we have these three apps here: Automation Center, Automation Console, and the Automation Project. We're going to be using the Automation Center. It's the model-driven app that is kind of like the administrative view. So when you open up the Automation Center, your navigation should look like this. I do have no session traces in here yet, just because this is brand new in this environment. So what we're going to do is we got to define a few things first. So first, we're going to define a corporate goal. So if I click on this tab here, we can actually hit new, and we're going to want to put in a goal name. And the values that I'm putting in are just examples. You can set up your own names, or you can use mine. So we're going to make this goal a 2022 goal. So we want to save money in 2022, period 2. So again, we want to do a whole year. So we're just going to go up a year, and we're going to end it on, we're going to end it on the 31st of December. And then for the target efficiency, I'm going to put 20%, and then I'm actually going to put 50,000 in here, and we can hit save. And you can define more than one goal, but for this, I'm just defining one right now. So now we're going to configure the general settings. And for that, we want to go to select the bottom in the navigation, and we want to select setup. When we click on environments, we see that we already have environments in here. That's because we have the sync environments flow that ran. It should have ran successfully. If it did, then you'll have all these environments in here. Now, the thing is that there's going to be some information that's not populated in here, and that's okay, because not all these environments are going to be a satellite environment, what we're going to really focus on. So let's just pretend that we want to. So let's say I want to create a satellite environment out of one of these environments. So how would I do that? So in this example, I'm going to do cube chain dev. So I'm going to find here cube chain dev. So here it is here. And if I click on this record, there's a few things I'm going to want to configure in here. So first, I'm going to configure what environment this is, type. This is a dev environment, so I'm going to select that. Then I'm going to, if necessary, I'm going to put an environment contact and an environment contact email. But then the most important part is switching this flag, the yes no field, to yes. Is satellite environment? Yes. This is going to allow it to be filtered on some of the apps, like for example, the DLP app will be able to filter only on the environments that we care about, which are the satellite environments. So make sure that you select yes and fill in as much information in here as possible. And then don't forget to click save and close. Next, we're going to configure departments. So if I click on the departments tab, we can hit new, and then your standard departments that come with your organization. There's a couple of examples are accounting, enterprise integration, finance, human resources. It's up to your organization how you want to structure this. So here I just defined a quick couple of departments. And next we're going to go to the process categories. Hit new. So I've defined a couple of process categories here, and we're going to need to define the sub-process categories that are going to be underneath these ones. So if I click on process subcategories, I can click new, and then forms processing, and then this is where I'm going to be putting it underneath one of the parents. So this one's going to be artificial intelligence. I can hit save and close, and I basically want to do this for each I want to have a couple for each different category. So I'm going to put forms validation and put that in artificial intelligence again. And if we want to actually add, we can even add them underneath of process categories itself. So for example, if I go into claims, I can actually go new subcategory here, and it'll automatically link to claims. So in here, I can just put return. And the last one is going to be under legacy systems here. Again, you can define your own. I'm just doing some basic ones. Next, we're going to do the app roles here. So in roles, we just need to define at least one COE admin, and that's going to be used because we're got to create a fallback record where if information is not selected during the form, we are using a fallback record. So flows don't fail, approvals don't fail. So we're going to be using a fallback record, which would require at least one COE admin initialized within the app roles here. So we're in the app roles section. I'm going to hit new, and I'm just going to put in here admin. I'll even put fallback. No, admin. So COE admin and user principal. And once I have that, I can hit save. And now that we have that defined, we can actually do our fallback record, which is actually in the base configurations section. So let's click on that. And we're going to have to hit new, COE name. I'm just going to put automation COE. So fallback environment, I'm just going to make it our dev environment. And the fallback approver is going to be, and I can hit save and close. And it's recommended to only have one active base configuration record at a time, just because we can only have one fallback record, and this is what it's being used for. So keep that in mind. Do not create more than one, otherwise it'll only use the very first one. Next, we're going to set up the ROI calculation formulas. So if I go to forms, processing frequency score here, we're going to hit new. And again, you don't have to follow my values here, but these are just the default values that we came up with. And if you like them, you can use them. If not, you can change them or modify them at any time. So the value here, I'm just going to put daily. And the score, I'm just going to put 12. And it doesn't really affect anything. It's really just for calculating like a baseline of a score. So you can kind of guesstimate how complex a automation solution is going to be, an automation project. And we can kind of go off the score, and the score is kind of based on, how complex it's going to be. And it takes a lot of different things into like effect. So it takes into like the amount of actions that you're going to need to use, the failure rate, a bunch of different things. So I'm going to basically define all these different durations here. So daily, hourly, monthly, quarter, and weekly. So here I've defined 3. I've got daily, hourly, and monthly. And you can see I have a score associated with those. Next, we are going to do the average automation step score. So that's right here. And if you want to follow me, what I'm doing in here, all this information is in the docs, and you can even copy and paste what I'm about to do, because it is kind of like an Excel type formula that we're going to use in here for the range. There we go. So I have my 3 values that I'm selecting here. Next, we're going to do the peak processing scoring. And in here, it's going to be the same kind of durational values. So we have daily, hourly, monthly, etc. Next, we're going to go into the automation console here and configure our console. So for here, we're actually going to, so the automation console is a directory of all the automation apps that we are using. So right now, I think there's only 3, but we want to be able to link them. So, you just open up one app and then you can open up all the other apps if you need. But we're going to need to link them manually for now. The 2 apps from in main for now. So that's going to be our automation project and automation center. So I'm just going to automation project. I'll put a description. And the app link, we want to go into our apps section, and we actually want to click on the 3 dots of the project of the app we want to find, hit details, and this is going to give us the web link, which is what we need, which is our app link. And then we also need the app ID, which is right here as well. And you want to do that for all the different apps that we have. I'm going to showcase this one, and I'll do the Automation Center because it's a model-driven app and it's a little bit different steps to get the URL and the app ID. So next I'm going to hit New, and this one's going to be for the automation. So to get the model-driven app information, we're going to select the 3 dots and hit Details of the model-driven app. So in here, we're just actually going to grab the app ID. And for the link, we're actually going to go inside of we're going to open up the web link. And then on the side here under properties, we can scroll down and we can see our unified interface URL. That's the URL we need. So I'm going to hit the copy button and go back. Here's the link. Save and close. And for the rest of the apps that we have, you can either put in there later or you can do it now, but I'm going to skip it for now. And that really concludes the setup of the automation COE toolkit for configuration data. Again, you can use your own values as you wish. You can add more stuff in here as you like. It's just I'm using base values, and you can either follow my values, which are from the documentation, or come up with your own little scoring system. I'll see you guys in the next video.